Hello, Revere, and welcome to our Revere Veterans and Community Show. Today I have a real special guest. He's running for Councillor at Large.
That's correct.
His name is Michael Falzone. Michael, welcome to our show, and
Pleasure.
thank you.
And thank you for having me here, Morris.
And before we start, I want all you people to know that Michael is a community of the veteran community also. So, Michael, start off.
Thank you for having me, Morris. I am a candidate for City Councilor at Large, and I'm very excited to throw my name in the race for that open seat. I think we're going to have a wonderful election. We're going to be talking and discussing a lot of issues that concern everybody in Revere. And I'd like to thank the people of Revere for taking the time out and watching the show and being involved. You are the most important people out there because it's your vote that makes the difference in this election. So please use it wisely.
Now, what made you decide from the get-go that you were going to run for Councillor at Large?
Well, the people that know me know that I'm very much an advocate on policies and I have a family business in the neighboring city in Chelsea, 37 years.
Yeah, doing what?
I took over my father's pizza shop, and it's been a blessing ever since. I did go to school for engineering. I did work as an engineer for a while.
What kind of engineering?
I'm an electrical engineer, electronics to be specific.
And
that's great because it's problem solving. I can look at things, I can decipher, and come up with my own conclusions based on things. And it's made a difference, believe it or not, in my own business because I can simplify things and have my employees do a better job by removing all the obstacles and problems. So even though we joke that I'm the most educated pizza man in the city of Chelsea, and my father spent numerous dollars on my education, it has helped me in my life in many aspects. So it wasn't a waste of money, it was money well spent.
No, so you being in the pizza factory, you must be making a lot of dough there.
Yes, I do, yeah. I'm rolling in the dough, literally.
Okay.
I literally, yes.
That's good, Michael.
I didn't see that one coming, Morris.
No, I just came natural, that's all. But I would like to have you talk about your family first before we get into the real crux of the show.
Well, both of my parents came to Revere in the 1950s, Italian immigrants, and they settled in the Shirley Ave area, and that's where I grew up. I grew up in one of those three-deckers, and my father worked very hard in construction until he ruptured 2 discs, and he had to find less physical work, and that's when he took a job at Anna's Pizza, and he learned the trade, and that's how we got into the pizza business and not the masonries or construction or things, because if it wasn't for that. But I have to give my dad a lot of credit. Instead of doing going out on disability or something, he found another way to make income and make it work for us. And he taught me very strong work ethics in that experience.
I got to tell you, Mike, we got new schools being built here. It's like the Whalen School was just recently built.
Yes.
The one on School Street was just recently built, the high school. But you were talking about the schools when you were growing up here, and ironically, they were named after presidents that were assassinated.
That is correct, yes. The Garfield, the McKinley, the Lincoln,
And the Kennedy.
And the Kennedy School,
Yeah.
yes. And I attended one of them at least.
Which one was that?
I went to the Garfield for 2 years.
Right. And, you know, I like to see...
And previous before that, I went to the Liberty School. So our school has a deep, rich, patriotic naming of the school, which we should be very proud of.
Right, and we got a beautiful ROTC in the high school.
Yes, they were at the Memorial Day celebrations.
Yeah,
they were excellent, very honorable.
Major Balker and Staff Sergeant.
Yep. No, they were all at the thing, and I'll tell you, when I was at the memorial on thing, it was very noble. And public service is a very difficult and honorable possession. Our young men and women on the front lines protecting our freedoms, they rank top. But just below them, we have to honor and talk about the firemen and police officers that are on the lines every day, protecting us and stuff. And third is public service, and that's what I'm doing here today.
I got to tell you, they are really the unsung heroes. It's the police department and fire department, because they are the ones that keep us safe in this city.
Absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And when I was growing up, we had a lot of respect for the policemen. And
I still do. I still do. I respect them as if they were my God sometimes.
And they deal with a lot of things today. And so when they ask you to pull over and show them a little respect, a little courtesy, when they're done, just thank them for doing their job and be on your way. And most of the time, if you show a little bit of respect, I was taught, you probably can get out of that ticket a little bit. You know what I mean?
I
Just by
could have
being
vouched
nice.
to that. Yep. I could have vouched that. We were going to a funeral one time in New York, and I had to get down there fast, and I was speeding on the Mass Turnpike, and a state trooper pulled me over, and he says, you know, you're going pretty fast. And I said, I agree with you, officer. And I told him I didn't try to, you know, make an excuse. I told him why we were speeding, but I didn't realize I was going that fast. I was doing almost 100 miles an hour in a 60-mile-an-hour zone. And then he said to me, just slow down, take it easy, or you'll be going to your own funeral. Those were his exact words.
That's absolutely true. I'll give you an example. When I was growing up, on hot summer nights, growing up down the Shirley Avenue, we would get a friendly game of basketball together, and we'd be playing late, and the police would show up and ask us, you know, keep it down and thing. We would explain to him nicely that it's a close game, we're wrapping it up. He goes, I'll give you, all right, 15 more minutes, but then if you promise me, you'll leave. And we did. You know, we kept our word, and we were grateful that he let us wrap it up. And, you know, and it's all about respect and courtesy.
I have to tell you a story. I grew up in Brooklyn, and we had what we called the PAL, the Police Athletic League, and we would go to the Ebbs Field where they had the Knothole gang, the fence. They had a wooden fence there that was about 8 and 10 feet high, I forgot. And we would knock out the knotholes, and we would be peeking in to see the ball game. But our back would be sticking out halfway in the street, and you know, the police, if a car went by and came close to the curve, we would be missing part of us, you know.
Right.
So what they did is they spoke to the Dodgers, the police did for us, and if the place wasn't crowded, we could go into the ballpark.
Oh, that was nice. That's a community. That's exactly what a community is supposed to do.
I remember the police would take us across the street when I was like 6 or 7 going to school. They would hold up the traffic, come over. You know, we would wait for them, and they would walk us across, and it was nice over there.
And just to highlight on that, and that's exactly what a community has to do: provide services and things to keep the community busy. You know what I mean? We need some more recreation down the beach. We have a lot of people coming to the beach and utilizing the beach. And I know we currently have this controversy with the birds and everything. But if we could put up a volleyball court here or there.
What do you mean with the birds?
The birds. There's the birds are migrating to Revere Beach. They love it.
I wish the way you looked at me, because I'll tell you, you're gonna laugh. I feed the birds on my street, the little ones, not the big ones. And when the seagulls come, I chase them away because I don't want them eating the little food for the birds. But I've been doing that for 50 years. So you're talking about the seagulls mostly?
No, not the seagulls. I think they're called. I know they're a migrating bird that the government is putting up the grass, and it's a program where they protects beach erosion and stuff.
I see.
I think
And that's bringing the birds in to eat it?
Yeah, they nest there, and they build nests and stuff. So you have to. It's a very reserved area.
Oh.
And I apologize to the community. I do know the name of the birds. I'm just drawing a blank on them right now, but I will look it up and get back to you on that. It's a very interesting dynamics of what's happening right on the beach. It takes a lot. You got to know your community. You have to know every aspect, from Revere Beach to the Point of Pines to Shirley Ave. And I'm running for Councillor at Large. I need to get out there and get around.
See, I even learned something myself, and I live near the beach.
Yeah.
Okay, now I got to ask you, since you are running for Councillor at Large, what additional improvements are you going to bring to the council?
Well, I think the improvement I can bring to the council is, right now when you look at the council, there's a generational gap. There's no one my age and thing. I look at some of the younger councilors and the older councilors, and my age, my generation, there's a gap there. So I could bring that dynamics to it. I understand the senior councilors, and I respect them wholeheartedly. They've been here in the city, and they have great ideas. And the younger councilors, they want to move forward, and they want to see improvements. And I think I can balance that out and work with them. And I'll tell you a great example is when I was young and I first took over the pizza shop, I went to a pizza convention and I found all this great innovation, great ideas for the shop. And one of them was a POS system, computers. And I wanted to bring computers to advance the pizza shop, but my aunt was working for me. And that's one of the things when you work in a family business, you have family. And she started the pizza shop off with my dad, and I had to just slow that improvement down a little bit because I couldn't let her go. She was petrified of the computers. So as I waited for the 3 years, and when she retired, I was able to research and find different systems and ask other pizza shops on their experiences on different things. And I think by waiting that little 3 years, I got an awesome system, and I got it for a better price. So that's the experience and the learning of working in a family business. You have to have compassion for your employees, and you have to know your customers, and you have to know what's every aspect of going on. You know, we have delivery drivers, they just focus on deliveries. We have pizza makers, they make pizzas, or the sub maker, or we have prep people. But as an owner, you have to know all aspects of your business, and you have to know how to save money and make money and spend money. And I think that's the dynamics that I could bring to the council, is being a business person.
I would like to ask you a question. We talked
Sure.
about your pizza store or your pizza place.
Yes.
Where is it located at in Chelsea?
8 Central Ave, John's Pizza. I don't really want to give a plug to my pizza shop.
Why not?
Oh, we got enough business and enough things. And my son's taking over right now, so he needs a little adjustment period.
Oh.
And that's why I'm able to run for councilor, because John's Pizza is going into its 3rd generation, family owned. And my son's doing a great job, and he's relieving a lot of pressures. I've always thought about it in the past, but now I have a great opportunity to dedicate myself 100%.
I have to tell you, I know you're going to laugh at this. I live in Revere, so I buy my food and pizzas and Revere. I love the Italian submarine sandwiches.
Yes.
I do. And there's a place in Chelsea, not far, there's a gas station where you cut off on the road from Broadway to go to the left.
S&L Subs.
S&L Subs.
Long time.
Right.
They're actually longer than John's Pizza.
Right. There used to be a gentleman that owned it at one time, and he passed away a few years
Yes.
back. And he would make a submarine sandwich for me, literally over a foot long, depending how big the bread was.
Right.
Yep. And it was nice. So,
Yeah.
you do, beside pizza, you also do submarines there?
Yes, we do, yeah. You have to.
Tell us the different varieties.
Oh my God, I like to talk about the issues. I could talk about pizzas all day, but it's.
Well, if you eat pizzas, you might have a lot of issues too.
I'll tell you one thing about pizza. It's a very diverse food. We had a customer that came in, and I said, "Oh, you don't feel like cooking today?" She goes, "No, my children are Puerto Rican, and my husband is Colombian." And I said, "And?" She goes, "Well, they eat their rice different than we eat our rice," and I didn't realize that. I thought rice was rice. So you learn a lot about, you know, the community by the people that come in.
That's good.
There's a lot to learn. I think small businesses, and go into any small business in Revere, and they have a great pulse of the city. They know what's going on because they're dealing with the residents every day. And I encourage everybody to shop. As much as I would love for you to come to Chelsea, but shop your local businesses and talk to the owners, because they're out there every day and they're working hard, and they got an incredible pulse on what's going on in the city. You want to know something, they know it.
You know, I got to say, Revere is a beautiful city, but there's a lot of immigrants that came here and they open up businesses. You can go down Broadway and see them. You can go down Shirley Avenue and see them. And, you know, they do a fabulous job. And, I mean, I'm talking about the bakery. I'm talking about, we got a terrific bake shop on Broadway, Liberto's, who donates a lot of stuff to our veterans.
Yep.
We got a restaurant right across the street, Volari's, who does a lot for the veterans, like a lot of the other restaurants do here. So they not only open up a business here, and Sal comes from Italy, the Good Diner comes from Egypt.
Yes, he does. Yeah, I met both of them. I met everybody that you talked about, because one of the things I did was I went out and introduced myself to small businesses, and you're great. And another great thing about Revere is that we have now fabulous destination restaurants. And what I mean by destination restaurants, they're not only serving the people of Revere, but people from local communities are coming into Revere.
That's right.
And they're eating and enjoying, and they're seeing the improvements of Broadway. They're blown away. The flags, the plants, the gas lamps with the energy efficient bulbs, saving money and lighting up Broadway. It's a beautiful sight.
I have to tell you, Michael, you've been down to our senior center.
Yes.
And Steve Fielding, who is our director, does a fabulous job, I should say an excellent job for our senior center. And you were mentioning pizza, and we do have that once in a while. We have the pizzas, we have the Italian sausages. As a matter of fact, I'm starting to speak Italian, just eating the food over.
Mucho gracias.
Okay.
That's the Spanish, though.
By the way, before we continue, we give these to every veteran, and also a veteran of the community, which you are, So we would like to present you on behalf of the city of
Thank you
Revere,
very
and Mayor
much.
Dan Rizzo, our Revere Veterans Service. And thank you for being on, but we're not finished yet. So let me get you started on talk about your family for a little while.
Well, I mentioned a little bit about my dad and how he came. My mother was the most loving, compassionate person. And something we really don't talk about is my mother lost a child at childbirth at a very early age. And so my mother used to cry every time she saw an accident on TV and a parent lost a loved one. I mean, when a parent loses a child,
I lost mine
very,
too.
it's very devastating.
It is.
And I think that what the city of Revere is doing right now, and to touch upon it, is the drug problem that we have, and the opium, and the heroin, and the overdoses, and the fact that the city of Revere is one of the leading cities that are supplying the firemen with the proper medication to save these lives is incredible. It's not only the life that's lost, it's the family that grieves, their cousins, their relatives, their somebody. And we need to make sure that our fire department and our police are properly trained to respond to these calls. Because as an elected city official and as a veteran, you know you don't leave any soldier behind. We represent everybody, just not the privileged and not the people. We have to look out for every citizen in the city of Revere.
Right. What I would like you to talk about more is about the schools. We don't have a great drug problem, but if, you know, some states have legalized drugs. I hope Massachusetts never does it, really, because drugs are not good to begin with. I even had a drug problem. I just couldn't afford it, but that's beside the point. But how do you feel about this? I mean, the drugs, you know.
Legalizing drugs?
Yeah.
I think you have to be careful what you wish for, because I've read in other states now they're going to come up with ways to test. Right now, one of the arguments is that, oh, you never heard of anyone getting into an accident being high. Well, because there was no way of testing it. And some states are developing ways to test the THC levels in the bloodstream, and you're going to see convictions and stuff going up. What people do and smoke in their own home and thing is their business, as long as you do it safely and responsibly. The whole argument about taxes and revenue and stuff, there are other ways to make money. That's an adult decision that for adults to make on their own. We have to protect young children from it. We have to make sure if it's going to be sold. I would be personally against opening up a dispensary or a place in Revere to sell it. They can go to other communities, but if you use it responsibly and keep it away from the children.
So that would be up to the individual community to decide whether they want it or not.
Yes, and that would be the responsibility of not one individual council, but of the council to pass such ordinance and vote. And I would advocate to my fellow councilors, let's give it a little more time, as in my example of the computer, and let's see how other cities are dealing with it. Let's see how they're doing it, and let's learn from them, because the cheapest way, the best way to save money is to learn from other people's mistakes, because mistakes are expensive.
That's true. How do you feel about the education in our school? You know, where some schools don't have the Pledge of Allegiance anymore, they don't have our national anthem anymore. I wouldn't want to see that be taken out in our city. I don't care who puts up a complaint. But how would you feel about that, if I may ask you?
Being born here, I feel very privileged, being born in the United States.
You and me both. And by the way, we're both first
generation.
Right.
Because knowing what my parents had to go through in Sicily and under the leadership of Mussolini and dictatorship and fascism, we're very privileged. And with that privilege, I think we owe a little gratitude and respect. We've come a long way since Vietnam, respecting our veterans. We're showing them out more and stuff. But to stop and say thank you, or to teach our young children, you know, to put your hand over your heart and pledge those words, it's a wonderful and a beautiful. I think that the other states are doing a terrible injustice to future citizens.
You know, when I look at the flag here and the flag I gave you, that to me represents the freedom that we have in this country compared to the other countries in the world over there. But I'd like to get back to you on your council running.
Yes.
What improvements would you like to see in the city if you were, let's say you were on the council right now?
If I was on the council, I would advocate and I would talk to my fellow councilors about economic development. It's a wonderful word. It's thrown out there a lot. You hear it. And we have to be careful because the flip side of economic development is social exclusion. By overdeveloping residential and building, you're putting more of a service on the city. There's more firemen, more police, and to protect and serve the additional residents. When you hear something in close proximity to Boston, and people from Boston would love to come into our city, the money that they save on rent, they're just going to go back into Boston and spend it. You can't put the cart before the horse. We have to develop the arts. We need things for people to stay in Revere. Right now, Revere is on 25 and older on higher education is below the state average. We need to bump that up and get it above the state average, and we want to retain. We spend a lot of money to educate our young children, and in the school system, it's about $20,000 right now per student. Per student, it's very expensive. We need to retain that. We need to keep them here in Revere and be productive citizens in Revere. My whole generation, we took off, and Revere became a very transitional city. I'm sure everybody knows somebody that lives in Peabody, Saugus, Linfield, and stuff. We want these people to come back, the original residents, and say, wow, I miss Revere. Revere is a great place, and I want to come back to Revere.
Right, and not only that, do you want to come back to Revere, but you can see the improvement that's going on in Revere.
It's an incredible improvement. And you asked me earlier how I got involved in Revere and stuff. I started going to the meetings about the casinos and all the money that was spent in the debate and the discussion about casinos. And when we attracted the companies like Caesar's Palace and Mohegan Sun to come and invest a lot of money here. But not only did they sell it to them, and unfortunately we didn't get it, but they sold it to me. And I'm like, wow, I do live in this incredible city. It has lots to offer, and we can even make it even better. We have a clean palette now without the casinos. We can focus more on the development of Broadway, Shirley Ave, and other parts of Revere.
I have to tell you, I think we got to bleep that on the casino, because I'll tell you why. We had 800 people working at Suffolk Downs. They're out of jobs. They're only having 3 races this year, for what I understand, 3 major races in there. They were talking about bringing in jobs and jobs. I'm talking about the gaming commission.
Yes. Yeah.
And who did they vote for? Somebody that didn't have any jobs like we had at Suffolk Downs. So all those people who were supporting a family, 800 might have got laid off. But I'm sure if you consider half of them were married and they had kids, so you're talking not 800, you're talking about 2,000 or 3,000 people that got affected.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, when I was growing up on Shirley Ave, and a lot of people and residents that my age or a little older, you'll remember this, that Shirley Ave was the shoe capital of the world.
That I did not know.
People came from all over to buy shoes on Shirley Ave. There was a little economic community there where the trains brought people into the city to shop. It was incredible. Those trains, the commuter rail, and especially the Blue Line, used to bring people into Revere for the amusement, for the entertainment. The Wonderland Dog Tracks, Suffolk Downs, the rides.
Sandy's rides.
Right.
I used to take my kid there.
Yes, exactly. Now the trains are taking people out of Revere and working elsewhere. I want to reverse it. One of the ideas I have is I like to see a stop on the commuter rail that passes right through Revere, and maybe on the weekends it can stop, and we can have a stop. Instead of going to Boston, we can go north. We can go to Gloucester, the Fisherman's Festival. We could stop at Salem, Newburyport, park our cars, and utilize the commuter rail. Why is the commuter rail stopping in Revere?
They used to talk about that, but they've done nothing about it.
I think it's an incredible service for the people of Revere, and the conversation just got dropped. I'll revitalize the conversation. I'll talk about it, and I like to support the business in commercial growth and jobs.
Mike, before we go, we got about 3 minutes left, so
Sure.
I just need 1 minute at a time. That's all.
You got it.
You take the other 2. You got it.
I got it.
Oh.
Well, I want to reach out to the people in Revere, and seniors and everybody, and if I'm elected, I will do my best. I've always worked hard. I've always had strong, hard ethics. But I want you to consider this. Your vote is very valuable, and I appreciate your vote. But for me to be an effective counselor, I need you to think about all your votes and everybody that you vote for. We have a long tradition of voting for people we know, but we need a functional council. So consider the vote, and I would like one of your 5 votes come November 3rd.
Right, Mike? First of all, let me take the time off to say thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
on the show.
Morris, it's been a pleasure ever since I met you. My wife says hello. She's sorry she couldn't make it today. And I do have one of your flags. I actually have 4 now. Every time I stop by the
I
senior
got to
center,
say,
I buy
right, these
2.
are at the senior center, and you folks, I got to tell you, these are some of the most beautiful flags you can ever get because people ask me about them. But I want to thank you, Mike, and I'm proud to live in Revere because to have people like you run for the council, that makes me proud too.
To believe in something and to do something, you have to love it. And I do love the city of Revere. I've lived here for a very long time. And I want to be part of the new Revere and the growth. I want to make sure that everybody, as we move forward, is properly representative. And I think we can do that come November 3rd.
Right, so let me say God bless you, Mike, for coming
you
on
very
our
much,
show.
Morris.
God bless our troops, our city of Revere, but most of all, our great country, the United States of America. Until the next time, we'll have another great guest on for you people to watch. So thank you all for listening, and thank you, Mike, for coming on.
Thank you very much, Morris. I appreciate it.
Okay.